Hey guys, tonight we're doing something different, something calm, something to help you drift off while learning fascinating things about your own mind. 100 sleepy facts about the human brain, about thoughts, about memories, about dreams, about why you think the way you do, all delivered slowly, gently, to help quiet the noise in your head. So get comfortable, close your eyes if you want, and before we dive in, I'm curious. Where are you watching from right now? Drop your country or city in the comments. I love knowing where everyone's tuning in from, whether you're in bed in New York or London or Tokyo or somewhere I've never heard of. Let me know. All right, let's explore the mind together. Fact 1. Your brain uses about 20% of your body's total energy, even though it only makes up about 2% of your body weight. So when you feel mentally exhausted, you're not imagining it. Thinking actually burns calories. Your brain is working hard, even when you're just lying here listening. Fact 2. The average human brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons, each one capable of connecting to thousands of other neurons, creating a network more complex than anything we've ever built, more intricate than the internet, more sophisticated than any computer. Fact 3. Your brain never actually stops working, not even when you're asleep. It's just working differently, processing the day, consolidating memories, solving problems you couldn't solve while awake, which is why sometimes you wake up with answers you didn't have the night before. And before we continue, if you're enjoying this calm format, if this is helping you relax, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Drop a like, because we're going deep tonight, and I want to make sure you catch future videos like this. Content designed to help you think, to help you understand yourself, to help you find peace. Fact 4. Memories aren't stored in one place in your brain. They're distributed across different regions, which is why a smell can trigger a memory, or a song can transport you back in time. Different sensory inputs activate different parts of the network. Your brain weaves memories from threads scattered throughout its structure. Fact 5. Every time you recall a memory, you actually change it slightly. Your brain reconstructs it based on your current state, your current beliefs, your current emotions. So in a way, you're constantly rewriting your own history. The past isn't fixed, it's fluid, shaped by who you are now. Fact 6. The feeling of déjà vu might be your brain's way of telling you that something in your current experience matches a pattern from a previous experience. But the connection is so brief and fragmented that you can't quite grasp what the original experience was. Your brain recognizes something familiar, but can't access the full memory. Fact 7. Your brain can process images in as little as 13 milliseconds. That's faster than you can blink, which is why sometimes you react to things before you're consciously aware of seeing them. Your unconscious mind is faster than your conscious awareness. Fact 8. The myth that we only use 10% of our brains is completely false. Brain imaging shows that we use virtually all parts of our brain throughout the day, just different parts for different tasks. Your entire brain is active and engaged, even when you're resting. Fact 9. Your brain literally shrinks throughout the day from mental exertion and fluid loss, and then expands again while you sleep as it rehydrates and repairs itself. So if you feel smaller by the end of the day, in a way you actually are, sleep restores not just your energy, but your brain's physical structure. Fact 10. The brain's ability to rewire itself, called neuroplasticity, continues throughout your entire life. You're never too old to learn new things, form new neural pathways, change patterns of thinking. Your brain remains adaptable as long as you're alive, which means you're never stuck, never finish growing. Fact 11. Stress hormones can actually impair your memory, which is why when you're anxious or overwhelmed, you might forget simple things or struggle to recall information you normally know. Your brain is prioritizing survival over storage. It's choosing to focus on the threat rather than remembering where you put your keys. Fact 12. The human brain can generate about 23 watts of power when you're awake, enough to power a dim light bulb. So, in a very literal sense, ideas are light bulbs turning on. Your thoughts have electrical energy, measurable and real. Fact 13. Your brain is about 73% water, which is why even mild dehydration can affect your mood, memory, and cognitive performance. Staying hydrated isn't just good for your body, it's essential for your mind. Your brain needs water to function optimally. Fact 14. The sensation of getting chills from music, called frisson, happens because your brain releases dopamine when it anticipates and then hears a particularly moving part of a song. Your brain literally gets a rush from beauty. Music isn't just entertainment, it's a chemical experience. Fact 15. Multitasking is actually impossible for your brain. What you're really doing is rapidly switching between tasks, and each switch costs you time and mental energy, which is why multitasking often makes you less efficient, not more. Your brain works best when it focuses on one thing at a time. Fact 16. Your brain starts to slow down around the age of 24, but before you panic, this doesn't mean you get dumber. It means your brain becomes more efficient, building stronger connections, and relying on experience rather than just processing speed. Wisdom trades speed for depth. Fact 17. The human brain can hold approximately 1 petabyte of information. That's roughly equivalent to the entire internet. So when you forget where you put your keys, it's not because you're running out of space. It's because of how memory retrieval works. The information is there. You just can't access it. Fact 18. When you sleep, your brain washes itself with cerebrospinal fluid, flushing out toxins that accumulated during the day, which is one reason why sleep deprivation is so harmful. Your brain needs that cleaning cycle to function properly. Sleep is literally brain maintenance. Fact 19. The brain doesn't feel pain, even though it processes pain signals from everywhere else in your body. There are no pain receptors in brain tissue itself, which is why brain surgery can sometimes be performed while a patient is awake. The organ that interprets pain can't feel it. Fact 20. Your brain creates around 50,000 thoughts per day, but most of them are repetitive. The same worries, the same plans, the same mental loops playing over and over, which is why mindfulness practices focus on breaking those patterns, on noticing when you're thinking the same thought for the 100th time. Fact 21. Dreams occur during REM sleep, but you actually dream during other sleep stages too. You just don't remember them as vividly, and you have multiple dreams each night, even if you only remember one or none at all. Your mind is constantly creating narratives while you sleep. Fact 22. The average dream lasts between 5 and 20 minutes, but can feel much longer or shorter, depending on what's happening. Time works differently in dreams because your brain isn't processing external reality. A few seconds can feel like hours, or hours can pass in what feels like moments. Fact 23. Everyone dreams, even people who claim they don't. They just don't remember their dreams. And you're more likely to remember a dream if you wake up during or shortly after it. The act of waking interrupts the dream and allows it to transfer to memory. Fact 24. Nightmares are most common in children, but about half of all adults experience them occasionally. And they often occur when you're stressed, anxious, or processing difficult emotions. Your brain working through fears while you sleep. Nightmares are your mind's way of rehearsing responses to threatening situations. Fact 25. The phenomenon of lucid dreaming, where you become aware you're dreaming and can sometimes control the dream, is real and can be learned. Studies show that with practice, many people can achieve lucidity in their dreams. You can literally wake up inside your dreams. Fact 26. Your brain is more active during REM sleep than when you're awake, processing memories, emotions, and experiences, filing them away, connecting them to existing knowledge, integrating them into your understanding of the world. Sleep isn't rest for your brain, it's a different kind of work. Fact 27. The things you think about before falling asleep can influence what you dream about, which is one reason why consuming stressful content right before bed can lead to unsettling dreams. Your brain processes what you feed it. So be mindful of what you're thinking about as you drift off. Fact 28. Some researchers believe dreams are your brain's way of rehearsing responses to threatening situations, running simulations of scary scenarios, so you're better prepared if you encounter them in real life. Evolution's way of keeping you safe. Your dreams might be survival training. Fact 29. The inability to remember dreams might be protective. Because if we remembered every dream with the same clarity as waking memories, we might have trouble distinguishing between what actually happened and what we dreamed. Your brain protects your sense of reality by letting dreams fade. Fact 30. When you're trying to fall asleep and your mind starts racing, it's often because your brain perceives lying awake as a problem to solve. And problem-solving mode is the opposite of sleep mode, which is why trying too hard to sleep can keep you awake. The effort defeats itself. Fact 31. Overthinking activates the same parts of your brain that would be active if you were actually experiencing what you're thinking about. So ruminating about a past argument can trigger the same stress response as the original argument. Your body can't tell the difference between imagined stress and real stress. Fact 32. Anxiety is essentially your brain trying to protect you by anticipating problems, but it often overestimates threats and underestimates your ability to handle them. Which is why anxious thoughts can feel so overwhelming, even when objectively things are okay. Your threat detection system is overly sensitive. Fact 33. The feeling that something bad is about to happen, with no specific reason why, that's called anticipatory anxiety. And it happens when your threat detection system is overly sensitive, scanning for danger even when there isn't any. Your brain is preparing for catastrophes that will never come. Fact 34. Your brain is wired with a negativity bias, meaning you naturally pay more attention to negative experiences than positive ones. This kept our ancestors alive by making them alert to danger, but in modern life, it can lead to dwelling on the bad and overlooking the good. You remember criticism more vividly than praise. Fact 35. Repetitive negative thinking, or rumination, can actually strengthen neural pathways associated with anxiety and depression. The more you think anxious thoughts, the easier it becomes to think them. But the reverse is also true. You can build new, healthier patterns. Your brain reinforces whatever you practice. Fact 36. Physical sensations in your body during anxiety, the racing heart, tight chest, shallow breathing, those are all your sympathetic nervous system preparing you to fight or flee. Even though there's nothing physically threatening you right now, your body is responding to perceived danger, not actual danger. Fact 37. The what-if spiral that happens with anxiety is your brain's attempt to prepare for every possible outcome. But since there are infinite possibilities, this strategy never actually makes you feel prepared. It just exhausts you mentally, trying to predict and control the unpredictable. Fact 38. Anxiety about sleeping. Worrying that you won't fall asleep, that you'll be tired tomorrow, that you need to sleep right now. That creates a stress response that makes sleep even more difficult. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The worry about not sleeping keeps you awake. Fact 39. Your brain can't tell the difference between real danger and imagined danger. So when you're lying in bed thinking about an upcoming event or replaying an embarrassing moment, your body responds as if it's happening right now. Imagination triggers the same physiological responses as reality. Fact 40. Mindfulness and meditation work partly by training your brain to notice when it's spiraling into anxious thoughts and gently redirecting attention, not fighting the thoughts, just observing them and letting them pass without engaging, creating distance between you and your thoughts. Fact 41. The act of naming your emotions. Saying to yourself, "I'm feeling anxious," or "this is fear," actually reduces the intensity of those emotions. It's called affect labeling, and it activates different parts of your brain that help regulate emotional responses. Naming gives you power over what you're feeling. Fact 42. Your brain is constantly predicting what will happen next based on past experiences, which is helpful most of the time, but can also lead to anxiety when your predictions are based on worst-case scenarios rather than realistic outcomes. Your brain prepares for the past, not the present. Fact 43. Intrusive thoughts. Those random, disturbing thoughts that pop into your head are completely normal. Most people have them. They don't mean anything about who you are. They're just your brain processing possibilities and testing boundaries. Having a thought doesn't make it true or important. Fact 44. The more you try to suppress a thought, the more likely it is to come back. This is called the rebound effect, which is why trying to force yourself not to think about something usually backfires. Acceptance works better than resistance. Let the thought exist without giving it power. Fact 45. Your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that regulates sleep and wake cycles, is influenced by light exposure, meal timing, exercise, and routine, which is why consistent habits can improve sleep quality more than any single night of good sleep hygiene. Your body loves predictability. Fact 46. The blue light from screens suppresses melatonin production, the hormone that makes you sleepy, which is why using your phone before bed can make it harder to fall asleep. Your brain thinks it's still daytime. The glow of your screen tells your body the sun is still up. Fact 47. It takes the average person about 7 minutes to fall asleep. So if you're lying there for 10 or 15 minutes, that's actually normal. It becomes a problem only when it's happening every night and causing distress about not sleeping. A little waiting is natural. Fact 48. Napping for more than 30 minutes can leave you feeling groggy because you enter deeper sleep stages. Short power naps refresh you. Longer naps make you feel worse unless you complete a full sleep cycle of about 90 minutes. Timing matters with naps. Fact 49. Sleep deprivation affects your brain similarly to being intoxicated. After 17 hours without sleep, your performance is equivalent to having a blood alcohol content of 0.05%. After 24 hours, it's like being legally drunk. Exhaustion impairs you like alcohol. Fact 50. Chronic sleep deprivation is linked to increased risk of anxiety, depression, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's. Sleep isn't a luxury. It's a biological necessity. Your brain and body need it to function. Skipping sleep has consequences that accumulate over time. Fact 51. Different stages of sleep serve different purposes. Light sleep helps with motor skills and attention. Deep sleep restores physical energy and strengthens the immune system. REM sleep processes emotions and consolidates memories. Each stage is essential for different aspects of health. Fact 52. The optimal amount of sleep varies by person, but most adults need between 7 and 9 hours. Some people genuinely need less, some need more. And those differences are partly genetic, partly influenced by lifestyle. Listen to your body, not arbitrary rules. Fact 53. Sleep inertia. That groggy, disoriented feeling when you first wake up happens because parts of your brain wake up faster than others. It usually takes about 15 to 30 minutes for your entire brain to come fully online. Give yourself time to transition into wakefulness. Fact 54. Your body temperature drops as you fall asleep and rises as you wake up, which is why a cool room helps you sleep better and why you might wake up feeling warm. Your thermostat is literally shifting throughout the night. Temperature regulation is part of the sleep process. Fact 55. The position you sleep in can affect your dreams. Sleeping on your stomach might lead to more intense or unusual dreams. Sleeping on your back might increase the likelihood of sleep paralysis or nightmares for some people. How you lie changes what you experience. Fact 56. Sleep paralysis happens when your mind wakes up before your body does. You're conscious but temporarily unable to move because the mechanism that keeps you from acting out dreams hasn't turned off yet. It's harmless but can be frightening. Knowing what it is makes it less scary. Fact 57. The sensation of falling as you're drifting off to sleep, called a hypnic jerk, happens because your muscles are relaxing and your brain misinterprets this as falling, so it jolts you awake to save you. Even though you were perfectly safe in bed, your brain is being overprotective. Fact 58. Some people are naturally morning people, larks. Others are naturally night people, owls. And many fall somewhere in between. This isn't laziness or discipline. It's chronotype, and it's partly determined by genetics. You're wired to be awake at certain times. Fact 59. Forcing yourself to wake up much earlier than your natural chronotype prefers can have negative health effects over time. Social jet lag, the mismatch between your biological clock and your social schedule, is a real phenomenon with real consequences. Fighting your natural rhythm has costs. Fact 60. Your brain processes and consolidates emotional experiences during sleep, which is why things often feel less overwhelming after a good night's sleep. The phrase "sleep on it" has scientific backing. Your brain literally changes how you feel about things while you rest. Fact 61. Memories are categorized during sleep as important or unimportant. Your brain strengthens the connections for things worth remembering and weakens or eliminates connections for trivial details. It's doing maintenance while you rest, deciding what to keep and what to discard. Fact 62. False memories are surprisingly easy to create. Studies show that with suggestion and repetition, people can develop detailed memories of events that never happened. Your brain fills in gaps based on expectations and plausibility rather than truth. Memory is reconstruction, not recording. Fact 63. Childhood amnesia. The fact that most people can't remember much before age 3 or 4 happens because the hippocampus, the brain structure essential for forming long-term memories, isn't fully developed yet in early childhood. Your brain wasn't ready to save those memories permanently. Fact 64. Emotional memories are stronger than neutral ones, which is why you remember exactly where you were during significant emotional events but can't remember what you had for lunch last Tuesday. Emotion tags memories as important. Feeling makes things stick. Fact 65. The feeling of a word being on the tip of your tongue happens when you can access partial information about what you're trying to remember but can't retrieve the complete memory. It's a retrieval failure, not a storage failure. The word is in there, you just can't find it. Fact 66. Studying or learning something new right before sleep can enhance memory consolidation. Your brain will process and strengthen those new neural connections overnight, which is why cramming right before bed can actually be somewhat effective. Sleep cements what you learned. Fact 67. Your brain has a default mode network that activates when you're not focused on the outside world, when you're daydreaming, remembering the past, thinking about the future. This network is essential for self-reflection and creativity. Mind-wandering isn't wasted time. Fact 68. Mind-wandering occupies about 30 to 50% of your waking thoughts. Your brain drifts away from the present moment constantly. This isn't necessarily bad, it's how we plan, reflect, and imagine, but too much can fuel anxiety. Balance is key. Fact 69. The inability to focus. When your mind keeps jumping from thought to thought, can be a sign of stress, fatigue, anxiety, or simply having too many things competing for your attention. Your brain has limited processing capacity. It can only handle so much at once. Fact 70. Boredom isn't the absence of things to do, it's the absence of meaningful engagement. Your brain craves stimulation and purpose. When it doesn't have it, you feel restless, unfocused, unsatisfied. Boredom is a signal that you need something more engaging. Fact 71. Creativity often emerges when your brain is in a relaxed state, which is why good ideas come in the shower, on walks, or right before sleep. When you stop actively trying to solve a problem, your unconscious mind keeps working on it. Relaxation unlocks creativity. Fact 72. The brain's reward system releases dopamine not just when you achieve something, but when you anticipate achieving it, which is why making progress toward a goal feels good even before you reach it. Anticipation itself is rewarding. Hope feels good. Fact 73. Habits form because your brain is constantly looking for ways to save effort. When you repeat a behavior enough times in the same context, your brain automates it into a habit loop. Cue, routine, reward, requiring less conscious thought. Efficiency through repetition. Fact 74. Breaking a habit is harder than forming one because you're not just stopping a behavior, you're fighting against established neural pathways. But it's possible. You have to replace the old habit with a new one, not just eliminate it. Substitution works better than elimination. Fact 75. Your brain's perception of time is flexible. Time feels slower when you're bored or anxious, faster when you're engaged or happy. Your emotional state literally changes how you experience the passage of time. Suffering stretches time, joy compresses it. Fact 76. The older you get, the faster time seems to pass, partly because each year represents a smaller fraction of your total life, partly because you have fewer novel experiences. Newness makes time feel slower. Routine makes it speed up. Novelty creates time. Fact 77. Attention is a limited resource. You can't pay full attention to everything at once. Your brain filters out most sensory information and only brings a small portion into conscious awareness, which is why you can miss obvious things if your attention is elsewhere. You see what you focus on. Fact 78. When you're anxious, your attention narrows. You become hypervigilant to threats and less able to notice positive or neutral information. This tunnel vision kept our ancestors alive, but in modern life, it can distort your perception of reality. Anxiety creates blind spots. Fact 79. Your brain loves patterns. It's constantly looking for them, even when they don't exist. This helps you make sense of the world quickly, but can also lead to seeing connections where there are none. Finding meaning in randomness. Pattern recognition is both gift and curse. Fact 80. The feeling of being watched, even when no one is there. Is your brain's threat detection system being overly cautious? It's better to be wrong about a threat than to miss a real one, so your brain errs on the side of caution. False alarms are preferable to missed dangers. Fact 81. Your sense of self, the feeling of being you, is constructed by your brain from sensory input, memories, thoughts, and emotions. It feels solid and consistent, but it's actually a dynamic process that's constantly updating. You're not a fixed entity, you're a process. Fact 82. The voice in your head, your internal monologue, Not everyone has one. Some people think primarily in images, feelings, or abstract concepts rather than words. There's no single way the human mind works. Your experience of thought might be completely different from someone else's. Fact 83. Your brain can process about 11 million bits of sensory information per second, but your conscious mind can only handle about 40 to 50 bits per second. So the vast majority of what your brain processes never reaches your awareness. You're only conscious of a tiny fraction of reality. Fact 84. Gut feelings or intuition aren't magical. They're your brain detecting patterns based on past experiences and making rapid assessments below the level of conscious thought. Sometimes your intuition is right. Sometimes it's biased by fear or past trauma. Trust it, but verify it. Fact 85. Cognitive biases. The systematic ways your thinking deviates from logic or rationality aren't flaws exactly. They're shortcuts your brain uses to make decisions quickly, but they can lead you astray if you're not aware of them. Efficiency comes with blind spots. Fact 86. Confirmation bias. The tendency to seek out information that supports what you already believe and ignore information that contradicts it is one of the most pervasive biases. Your brain prefers to be consistent rather than correct. You see what you expect to see. Fact 87. The spotlight effect. The belief that others notice and remember your mistakes or embarrassing moments more than they actually do happens because you're at the center of your own world, but you're not at the center of anyone else's. Most people aren't paying as much attention as you think. Fact 88. Most people overestimate how much others think about them. In reality, other people are mostly thinking about themselves, their own worries, their own lives, their own concerns. You're not being judged as much as you think you are. Everyone's too busy thinking about themselves. Fact 89. Social anxiety often stems from overestimating the likelihood of negative evaluation and underestimating your ability to handle it. Your brain creates worst-case scenarios and treats them as inevitable, when in reality, they're just one of many possible outcomes. Anxiety lies about probabilities. Fact 90. Loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about feeling disconnected from others even when you're surrounded by people. It's the gap between the connection you want and the connection you have. And it affects your brain similarly to physical pain. Isolation hurts. Fact 91. The brain in love looks remarkably similar to the brain on cocaine. Romantic love activates the same reward pathways, releases dopamine, reduces activity in areas responsible for critical thinking, which is why love can feel so intense and sometimes make you act irrationally. Love is a drug. Fact 92. Heartbreak activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. Rejection literally hurts, and your brain processes social pain with many of the same structures it uses to process physical injury. Loss is real pain, not just metaphorical. Emotional wounds are physical. Fact 93. Your brain is capable of change at any age through neuroplasticity. You can learn new skills, change thought patterns, recover from trauma, form new habits. The idea that you're stuck with the brain you have is outdated. You can reshape it through practice and repetition. Transformation is always possible. Fact 94. Meditation and mindfulness practice can physically change your brain. Studies show increased grey matter in areas associated with learning, memory, emotional regulation, and decreased activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center. Mental training is real training. You can rewire yourself. Fact 95. Your brain needs rest. Not just sleep, but mental downtime. Time when you're not consuming information, not solving problems, not being productive. Boredom and daydreaming are essential for creativity, problem solving, and mental health. Doing nothing is doing something important. Fact 96. Nature exposure has measurable effects on the brain. Time in natural settings reduces activity in the part of the brain associated with rumination and worry. It lowers stress hormones, improves mood, enhances focus. Your brain evolved in nature, and it still responds to it. Trees calm your nervous system. Fact 97. Acts of kindness and helping others activate the same reward pathways as receiving rewards yourself. Your brain is wired for connection and contribution. Doing good literally makes you feel good because of how your neural circuitry responds. Generosity is selfish in the best way. Fact 98. Gratitude practices can rewire your brain over time. Regularly focusing on what you're thankful for strengthens neural pathways associated with positive emotions and weakens pathways associated with negative thinking. You're training your brain where to look. Attention shapes reality. Fact 99. The human brain is the most complex structure known in the universe, more intricate than galaxies, more mysterious than black holes, and yet it's what allows you to understand galaxies and black holes. You're using your brain to try to understand your brain. Consciousness contemplating itself. Fact 100. Right now, as you listen to this, your brain is processing language, accessing memories, creating meaning, possibly feeling sleepy. It's doing thousands of things simultaneously that you're not even aware of. And tomorrow, it will wake up and do it all over again. This incredible, mysterious, beautiful organ that makes you who you are, that creates your entire subjective experience of existence, that turns electrical signals into thoughts, feelings, dreams, consciousness itself. Your mind is complex, powerful, sometimes overwhelming, but it's also capable of peace, joy, rest, healing, and understanding how it works can help you work with it instead of against it, can help you be gentler with yourself, can help you find calm, even when your thoughts are loud. The brain you're listening with right now is the result of billions of years of evolution. It's adapted to help you survive, to help you connect, to help you understand. And sometimes those adaptations don't fit perfectly with modern life. Sometimes your ancient brain freaks out about things that aren't really threats. Sometimes it remembers what you'd rather forget and forgets what you want to remember. Sometimes it keeps you awake when you desperately need sleep. But it's doing its best. It's trying to protect you, trying to help you, trying to make sense of this strange and overwhelming world. And when you understand that, when you see your brain as an ally rather than an enemy, when you work with its nature instead of fighting against it, things get easier. You don't have to control every thought. You don't have to fix every problem tonight. You don't have to have it all figured out before you can rest. Your brain will keep processing, keep working, keep trying to solve things. That's what it does. But it can do that work while you sleep, while you let go, while you trust that tomorrow is another day and you'll handle whatever comes. So as you drift off tonight, remember that your brain is on your side. It's trying to protect you, even when its methods seem counterproductive. It's processing everything you've experienced today. It's preparing you for tomorrow. It's doing its job while you sleep, maintaining, repairing, consolidating, cleaning, organizing, taking care of you in ways you'll never fully understand. You don't have to control your thoughts. You don't have to force yourself to stop thinking. You just have to let your brain do what it does and trust that eventually it will let you rest, that the thoughts will slow down, the worries will fade, the mental chatter will quiet. Not because you fought it, but because you stopped fighting, because you allowed, because you trusted. Your brain knows how to sleep. You've done it thousands of times before. You don't have to remember how. You don't have to try to make it happen. It will happen on its own when you stop standing in the way, when you stop treating wakefulness as a problem to solve and start treating it as a temporary state that will pass. And it will pass. It always does. Every single night of your life, eventually, you've fallen asleep. Every time you worried you wouldn't, you did. Your track record is perfect. And tonight will be no different. Tonight your brain will do what it's designed to do. It will shift from waking consciousness to sleeping consciousness, from thinking to dreaming, from active to rest. You don't have to help it. You don't have to do anything. You just have to be here, breathing, existing, allowing, and your brain will take care of the rest, because that's what it does. That's what it's always done. That's what it will do tonight. Sweet dreams.